This is a lesson on dominant 7 chords. Now, you could spend your entire life studying how to play over dominant 7 chords. I'm not presenting this as the be-all to end-all. It's just I'm showing you some cool ideas to get you going. Now, let's talk about what a dominant 7 chord is. The dominant 7 chord consists of the root, the third, the fifth, and the flat 7th. Okay, so let's talk about some scales that you would play over the dominant 7 chord. The first one that we'll talk about is Mixolydian, which consists of the root, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the flat 7. So notice that the scale degrees of the dominant chord are in the Mixolydian scale. The others are kind of like extra colors added in. Another scale that you would use would be the Lydian dominant, which is taken from melodic minor. Now this scale consists of the root, the second, the third, the sharp fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the flat 7th. So it's basically Mixolydian, but there's a sharp 4 in the equation, so it sounds a little more out there. Next up we have the Phrygian dominant scale, which comes from harmonic minor, so naturally it's going to sound a little more on the Spanish side. That consists of the root, the flat 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, the flat 6, and the flat 7. Another more dissonant scale that you can fool around with is the whole tone scale. Now the whole tone scale is an augmented scale, so it has a sharp 5 in it. So that's kind of creates some dissonance against the fifth in the chord. But you know, as long as you're careful with it, it still sounds pretty good. So the whole tone scale consists of the root, the second, the third, the sharp 4th, the sharp 5th, and the flat 7. And then there's the dominant diminished scale, which consists of the root, the flat 2nd, the flat 3rd, the 3rd, the sharp 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and the flat 7th. Now, so there are some dissonant intervals in there, but you know, it sounds cool. Now, a lot of people are told to play the symmetrical diminished scale up a half step. Well, here's why that works. You see, the dominant diminished scale, which works fine over the regular old 7 chord, is a mode of the symmetrical diminished scale, and they're a half step apart from each other. So G dominant diminished is to A flat symmetrical diminished what G Ionian is to A Dorian. So I hope that made sense to some people. I forgot to mention that a symmetrical diminished scale consists of a root, second, flat 3rd, fourth, flat 5th, flat 6th, and double flat 7. Another scale I wrote out for you guys in the link below is the altered scale, where you flat everything, and that works over some altered dominant chords that we won't really talk about here. I suppose you could play it over a regular old 7 chord, but that's pretty out. You're going to want to resolve carefully. Another cool one I threw in there for the page there is the tritone scale. Now, what's cool about the tritone scale is you hear a lot of jazz guys, they'll play like a major arpeggio, a major triad, root, third, fifth, then they'll go up a tritone, a flat 5 or a sharp 4, up above from the tonic, and play a major triad. So when you put those two major triads, a tritone apart, you get this scale, which consists of the root, the flat 2nd, the 3rd, the sharp 4th, the 6th, and the flat 7. It works beautiful over a dominant 7 flat 9 chord. If you want to get some out sounds, you can play it over a regular dominant 7 chord. Somewhere on YouTube is a video of Jimmy Herring talking about this scale. I don't think he calls it the tritone scale, but that's what it is. I think that's in my favorite page if you want to find it. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate all these sounds for you. very briefly talk about extensions, and you can see a whole lot more of this in the link. So just click on that link. You can see a whole lot more. So what an extension is an extension is a pitch that's placed above the already existing chord. So you got a dominant 7 chord, you got a root, a third, a fifth, and a flat 7. So if I add a 9 into the equation, or an 11, or a 13, that's an extension. So root, third, fifth, flat 7, 9 would be a dominant 9 chord. And you can alter that. You can sharp it and get a sharp 9 chord, the infamous Jimi Hendrix chord, or you can flat it, which is usually, the 5 and a minor 2, 5, 1 is the most common place to find that. About these pitches of the 9, 11, and 13, they are the same as 2, 4, and 6. So a 9 and a 2 are the same exact pitch, just that the 9 is placed above the octave, so you call it a 9. And the 4 and the 11 are the same exact thing, right? And the 6 and the 13 are the exact same pitch. I'm also going to go ahead and point out that a sharp 9 and a flat 3 are the same thing. A sharp 4, a sharp 11 are the same thing as a flat 5. A flat 6 and a sharp 5 are the same, and a double flat 7 and a 6 are the same. Again, if you click on the wonderful, amazing, incredible link, you'll understand why I felt compelled to tell you this. A few examples to get you going. So say you had a flat 9 and a flat 13. Okay, so a flat 9 is the same as a flat 2, and a flat 13 is the same as a flat 6. So what scales contain both the intervals of a flat 2 and a flat 6? The altered scale and Phrygian dominant. So if you had a dominant 7, flat 9, flat 13 chord, you could play either the altered or Phrygian dominant. Another example, say you had a sharp 11 or flat 5, whatever you want to call it. Okay, well, which of those scales contain the interval of a sharp 4 or a flat 5, whichever you want to call it. And you got Lydian dominant, you got altered, you got dominant diminished, and you got whole tone. So that's just the start. Do some more studying of all this on your own. So that's everything that I'm going to include in this video. If all this sounds like, it's another language, you should ask your music teacher to teach you about intervals and how to construct scales and chords using them. I hope this has been helpful, and I can't wait to read about how wrong I am about everything in general. Okay. Bye.